Everyone at aviation whispered the same rumor: the janitor knows more about helicopters than the CEO. No one believed it, except the janitor himself. But when the arrogant CEO mocked him in front of the entire company, she had no idea that the man holding a mop carried a secret that would flip her world upside down, a secret worth billions. And it all started the day she pointed at a military helicopter and laughed. "Fly this helicopter, and I'll marry you." She thought it was a joke. He took it as a challenge. A challenge that would expose his true identity, break her pride, and change both their lives forever. Rain hammered the glass walls of aviation as employees rushed through the lobby, preparing for the company's annual demo day. The air buzzed with excitement and nerves, but in the corner near the maintenance door stood a quiet man in a faded gray uniform, Amir, the janitor. His back was slightly hunched, his hands rough from years of scrubbing floors, but his eyes, sharp, focused, as if they belonged to someone who lived a very different life. Most employees barely noticed him. Except one. Alina Saeed, the glamorous young CEO of aviation, walked past him in her high heels, her assistant following like a shadow. She didn't hide her irritation whenever she saw him. "Amir," she snapped, "make sure the hangar is spotless. Investors will be here in an hour. Try not to break anything this time." The staff laughed. Amir lowered his eyes politely. But he didn't forget. He never forgot. Hours later, the main hangar gleamed like polished steel. At its center sat the new military helicopter prototype, the Falcon X-9, the pride of journalists surrounded it, cameras flashed, engineers boasted about the engine design. Alina stood confidently before the investors, describing the helicopter's features, some exaggerated, some barely true. But no one dared challenge her. No one except Amir, silently watching from a distance. That's when one of the investors smirked and asked a sharp question. "Ms. Saeed, can you personally fly this helicopter?" Alina froze. She had never flown anything in her life. She laughed it off. "Oh, I have pilots for that." The investor wasn't satisfied. "Anyone here who can do a live test? It would show your confidence in the machine." Alina scanned the room desperately. Her lead pilot was stuck in traffic, another called in sick. Silence spread across the hangar. Then someone, half joking, pointed at the janitor. "What about him? Maybe he can fly it." Laughter exploded. Alina turned, smirking cruelly. "Oh yes, Amir," she said mockingly. "Fly this helicopter, and I'll marry you." Everyone laughed harder. But Amir didn't. His eyes remained calm. His voice steady. "Are you sure?" he asked softly. Alina raised a brow. "It was a joke." "Obviously." "But I take promises seriously, madam," Amir replied. The room went quiet, uncomfortably quiet. The investor stared between them, curiosity growing. "Well? Can he try?" Alina folded her arms, fully confident nothing would happen. "Sure, let him embarrass himself." Amir walked slowly toward the helicopter. People whispered. Security hesitated. A janitor touching a multi-million-dollar aircraft? Unthinkable. But Amir climbed in, momentarily brushing his fingers across the control panel like he was greeting an old friend. Then, the helicopter roared to life. Gasps filled the hangar. Amir's hands moved confidently, expertly, as if he had spent years training. The massive machine lifted off smoothly, hovering with perfect balance. He maneuvered it like an artist painting with the sky, banking, circling, landing with precision so flawless that even the engineers were stunned. The moment the blades stilled, silence swallowed the hangar. Alina's face drained of color. The investor leaned forward. "Mr. Amir, who are you really?" Amir stepped out, wiped his hands calmly, and gave a small smile. "Just a janitor," he said quietly. But everyone knew he was lying. His movements, his skill, this man was no janitor. Alina stared at him, her heart pounding with confusion, anger, and something she had never felt before, fear. She had mocked the wrong man. The man who just might own the sky. Chapter 2, The Truth He Tried to Hide. The next morning felt different. Every conversation had one topic: the janitor who flew the Falcon. Engineers whispered about him in the workshop. Executives speculated in the lounge. Even the security team gossiped. But Amir walked through the building the same way he always did, quiet, humble, almost invisible. Except to Alina. For the first time since becoming CEO, she wasn't in control. She followed him into the maintenance room, shutting the door behind her. Amir, she began sharply, I want the truth. Who are you? Amir didn't look at her. He continued cleaning a tool shelf. I am who you hired me to be. No, she said, voice cracking slightly. No one learns to fly a helicopter like that by accident. Why are you working here? What are you hiding? Amir sighed deeply, the kind of sigh that carries pain. I didn't come here to be discovered, he whispered. Alina stepped closer. Then tell me. He finally turned toward her, his eyes reflecting years of secrets. I used to be a test pilot, one of the best. I trained military teams, flew classified missions, and survived crashes no one else walked away from. Alina's breath hitched. Then why are you here as a janitor? Amir looked down. Because one day, during a test flight, something went wrong. We lost an engine midair. I managed to land safely, me, and the team on board, but the company blamed me. They destroyed my record, my reputation, everything. He swallowed hard. And that company was Skirich. Before your father passed, he was the one who fired me. Alina staggered back. My father, what? I thought if I stayed close, quietly, maybe I could one day prove the truth. But I didn't want revenge. I just wanted a chance to fly again. Alina's throat tightened, guilt, shame, and something else swirling inside her. But yesterday, Amir said softly, when you mocked me, it reminded me why I stopped fighting. She closed her eyes, regret washing over her. She had become just like the people who destroyed him. I'm sorry, she whispered. I didn't know. Amir nodded. I know you didn't. But the moment was interrupted by a sudden knock. The investor from yesterday walked in with papers in his hand. Good, both of you are here. Amir, I've done my research. Everything checks out. You were never at fault. Needs you, and I want you to lead our new aviation project. Alina stared in disbelief. Amir's past, finally restored. But then the investor added, smirking lightly. And, Ms. Saeed, you also made a promise yesterday, didn't you? Something about marriage? Amir's eyes widened. Alina blushed furiously. That was a joke, she protested. The investor laughed. Well, considering what he just proved, it doesn't look like a joke anymore. Amir stepped forward calmly. Marriage isn't a reward, he said softly. And I would never want someone tied to me by a challenge meant to humiliate. His words struck Alina deeply. He wasn't angry. He wasn't vengeful. He was kind, more than she had ever been. As the investor left, Amir walked past her gently. I don't want your promise, he said. I only want respect. But as he moved away, Alina realized something surprising. For the first time in her life, she wanted him, not because of a challenge, but because he was everything she wasn't. And she wasn't ready to let him walk away. Not now. Not ever.